Today, the nation watched the funeral of President George H.W. Bush. Over his lifetime, he traveled across this country, back and forth many times. He even made a stop here in the UP. Local 3's Rebecca Bartlemay joins us now in the studio with more on one of his visits from 45 years ago. Rebecca.
In December of 1973, George H.W. Bush accepted an honorary Doctor of Law degree and served as commencement speaker for Northern Michigan University's graduation ceremony.
What's kind of interesting about his coming, he was the second choice. The first choice was the director of the Atomic Energy Commission, and she couldn't make it.
When Bush was at NMU, he wasn't known as president yet. He was the chair of the Republican National Committee.
He talked about his time in the United Nations, and kind of typical of George Bush, the interaction, the personal interaction he had with other ambassadors and so on in the United Nations. And then he pointed out, showing the breadth of his views and knowledge, he talked about concerns about population, the environment. At that time there was a war going on in the Middle East, and a number of, well, Watergate was another thing that was on people's minds, and he was on top of it all, and that was the one thing you noticed.
Minyagi said he encouraged the students to be involved in politics and what is going on in the world. With Bush's passing, he believes younger generations see what he has done for the country.
He's a good example of the spirit, the interactive spirit of, in the past, of politicians working with both parties, working together and not pulling apart. And so if people listen carefully to what he says, you have a model, a guide for you to follow.
Reporting in the studio, Rebecca Bartlemay, Local 3 News.
Thanks, Rebecca.